You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. I didn't say it would be easy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rabbit Hole of KouvRadio.com. Today's date is January 20th, 2014. My man, James, how's it going?
It's going. What's up?
Yeah, thank you for tuning in, yo. Interesting weekend.
Yo. Yeah?
Yeah, you know, I'm convinced there is a God.
Okay.
And he hates my guts. Because I'm having to watch the Seattle Seahawks go to the Super Bowl for the second time in, 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
And my team cannot advance past the first round of the playoffs, at least not since 1993. Did I do something in a past life?
What's your...
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Okay.
Kansas City, yes. I'm a Chefs fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, how disappointing. But, you know, on that note, I'm happy for Seattle. You know, I'm happy for... You know, maybe they'll bring a Pacific Northwest championship of some sort, you know, in, and I'm cool with that, but...
Well, I don't normally watch football, and it's just sports in general.
Yeah.
Something I just tend to avoid. But there was explosions going on outside my house, and my cat freaked out, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I look outside, and there's fireworks. I'm like, why is there... Oh.
Maybe Michael Bay was in town. Explosions!
No, I just I realized after all the Facebook posts that the Seahawks won. So
yeah. You know, I felt bad for. I have a good buddy of mine. He's a Frisco fan. Actually, I know a lot of Frisco fans, and I felt bad for him. You know, but they got some shitty calls on them too, man. They were playing the Zebras for a little bit, also. Am I saying that would have deterred the course of the game? Possibly, but nothing definitive. You know, I mean. I pretty much called it. I figured this was going to be the Super Bowl. I wanted New England to win because I hate Denver that much. You know, that's division rival for me. So, But you know.
So who won?
Denver. It's going to be Denver and Seattle in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks.
Cool. I mean, I was as a kid.
That is an interesting. That's it. Hey, you know what? He just made an example. This is what our producer Wayne just said. He goes, well, you know what? Those are the two states where pot is illegal.
It's the big bowl.
Coincidence? I think not. Wow. Oh, my chest still hurts. Hey, Chris, if you're still listening, you're a total dick for punching me in the chest. Thanks for that.
Guess you had that one coming.
I guess I did. Someone's going to answer for this pain in my chest.
But I used to be in the Seahawks when I was a kid. You know, back when Steve Largent, number 80, was the man, and
yeah,
back in the day. But I just kind of
you know.
Away.
They got a storied past. I remember going up there when they were in the. People are probably thinking, "Is this a sports show?" It's really not, but we're just. This is what we're going to talk about right now. Going up there because they were in the AFC West. They were in Kansas City's division. I used to go up there every year and watch my Chiefs. And those Seattle fans, they always have their heads down and they'd be like, "Oh man!" And right when Holmgren came, that seemed like everything changed from there. After Holmgren came in. And they got this big chip on their shoulder. You know what? They got an awesome coach now, Pete Carroll. So, I mean, I'm happy for him. I mean, I am. Good for them. You know, I may never experience that in my lifetime. Ow. My chest still hurts. So, anyway, we don't really have a particular topic. We have a lot of things we're going to touch up on tonight, but nothing in particular, unless you got something up your sleeve there.
No, I really don't. I just, do my usual thing of checking out what's what and who's who.
Right. I spent some time this Saturday watching a lot of Joe Rogan's podcast. And that dude is awesome.
He's crazy, Joe Rogan. You're crazy, Joe Rogan.
I mean, the dude's awesome.
I like Joe Rogan.
He's a natural dude, and he's brutally honest. He uses language that we don't really use on this show. Yeah, we'll throw some F-bombs here and there, but we don't really, it's not really our gig. But he does. But the way he does it, he's like a maestro. You know what I mean? It's a poignant time to say F or whatever. It's a poignant time. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I watched Dr. Stephen Greer on there.
Mm-hmm. Seen that?
That was a fantastic interview. Those of you who don't know who Dr. Stephen Greer is, he is the head of the monster for Disclosure and the Disclosure Project, and basically he's
in CSETI,
yeah,
Center for Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
He's trying to get basically a team of the biggest names around, most credible people. He's got a whole list of he's got
generals.
Yeah, he's got generals, admirals, astronauts,
government agents, CIA people.
The guy Callahan, who was number 3 in the chain of command for the FAA, who was present during the 1986 Japan airline incident over Alaska, and that was a really big deal. I mean, that was a 40-minute sighting. It went on and on and on. Not only did they get target returns and radar from civilian radar, but they also got it off of military. They got it off the 2 F-16s they dispatched to go investigate it, and they got it on basically every single tape. And the Goombas came by to take everything. This never happened. We were never here. You don't know anything. And they confiscated all the material, they thought. Well, Callahan, exit stage left and took a bunch of this intel, and he presents it at conferences, and it's super, super compelling evidence. It is proof undeniable.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people don't realize this. I mean, I've sent messages to Greer, so I'm working on it. I'm trying to get him on the show.
I've sent him about 4 or 5 also. He's busy, man.
He's a busy cat, but I think we'll get him eventually.
I mean, when we say he's busy, we're not exaggerating. What kind of busy, you may ask? This kind of busy. Going and writing up action plans for the President of the United States in the event of a alien attack, or how to start or instigate contact with ETs.
Right, and he takes
that
groups
kind of
out,
busy.
and he's got about 1,000 groups now that go around and they go into these remote areas and they instigate this meditation. And I don't think he's ever said he's not made some sort of contact with something.
Oh, he alludes to it. He's kind of he'll be a little cryptic about it because I think he's afraid, and rightfully so. A lot of people who have gotten not even a quarter as far on the information process of giving it out to the public have disappeared or met untimely ends. So it seems like this guy's so smart. I mean, first of all, when we say doctor, he's a medical doctor. This guy was the head chairman for emergency room doctors. I mean, this guy's very intelligent, very bright.
Right. He did that for about 10 years, right?
Yeah, he did it for about 10 years, and then he gave it up for this because he was like, well, saving lives is kind of my thing, and I like to save lives, but I feel like the planet is in danger. So that took precedent for him, and if anybody can pull it off, it's that cat. That guy is awesome.
Well, not to mention his initial group was all at the same time diagnosed. They all had cancer. Several of them died. He was one out of that group that actually survived. So that seems like some sort of, as he calls it, some sort of electromagnetic attack.
Right.
And which Carla Turner, same thing.
Yeah.
She was diagnosed with cancer
well.
as well.
Right. And those of you who listened to our show with Mrs. Tavares, she discussed this. She talked about this, and I know some people out there were kind of going, wow, what is this lady talking about? Well, that is exactly what she was talking about. There are certain people in this world who are singled out, and they are basically cyber attacked or attacked with electromagnetic pulse weapons. It happens. It is not something we're making up. This is for real. And every single one of us who has a smart meter on our home are under attack right now. If you don't believe me, do some research. Figure it out for yourself. It's pretty bad.
Well, I took my magnet meter off my phone. That Greer has an app called Contact, and there's an electrometer on there for magnetics. And I put it up to my box spring because I was, I wanted to test the theory on the magnetics of your spring, and it went off the chart.
In and out.
Yeah. So basically, all that that frequency is getting sucked in by your mattress and
turns into
pushing
an
up.
antenna.
And yeah, and it's basically you're absorbing it while you sleep.
That's healthy living.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
So, time to buy space foam.
Something. I mean, it's bizarre, and I guess you have an option if you want. You can attempt it. I don't even think it's an option, but you can attempt it. You can try to get one of those old analog type of meters, and I don't know. I doubt you're going to get a whole lot of cooperation out of it.
I'm sure they're going to make it real difficult.
Yeah, I talked to a guy at Portland General Electric on the phone and interviewed him. Yeah, he didn't want to be recorded, so I didn't. But I asked him if he knew anything. He was like, "What are you talking about?" If he was sitting in front of me, he would have looked at me like I had two heads.
Right.
Because he had no clue what I was talking about, and I was like, "Dude, you work for a company that's pimping this stuff out." They came in the middle of the night or something and did mine because I have no recollection of these people coming to my house. I'm pretty on it. Someone even gets near my fence, my property, I'm like, "Who dat?"
Right.
So
usually any type of work done on your home, it needs to be, you have to get consent regardless of whether you're the power company or not.
But on the other side of that, they can just say, "Yeah, we knocked it, didn't answer, so we went ahead and did it." I'm sure that's a clause in the agreement and them installing these things as well. Did you try the doorbell? Yeah, I tried the doorbell. I mean, I don't have a event recorder in my house that tells me when my doorbell was rung, so it would be his word against mine. Right?
Maybe you should put one in the Fogel black box.
I think I might.
It's a good idea, see.
Or I need to get me a big dog.
I want to get a big pooch, too.
That is a deterrent. I don't care who you are.
I got one, and that's a great deterrent.
Yeah, I don't think Moxie would pull her weight on that. Mm-hmm. You better hide your shoelaces, sucker. She means it. So, well, why don't I go ahead and get out the phone number? Those of you who want to open up some type of dialogue with us, call us at 360-977-5483. That's 360-977-LIVE. And we can talk about whatever. We're kind of doing open mics, open channel, open lines.
I got something cool.
Let's do it. Oh yeah.
I got something really cool.
This is for the iPhone folks out there.
Oh, you want?
Is that what you're talking about?
I was sticking with the Greer plan, but yeah, this is cool too.
I like the Greer plan, but why not?
You brought it up, so we got to do the iPhone thing now.
Let's do it. This is a trip.
And I know Ground Zero's talking about this, and it's kind of covered around, but if you have an iPhone,
we're just verifying it.
Right. If you have an iPhone, you can acknowledge your Siri, or bring up your Siri, and ask about these dates, and it will bring up that the gates of Hades or hell, whichever you prefer, will open, and then there's a date when it closes. So here we go.
I'm turning it up.
What day is July 27th, 2014?
It's Sunday, July 27th, 2014, opening gates of Hades.
What?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll go to the other date. What day is September 3rd, 2014?
It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2014, closing gates of Hades.
So I mean, why is Siri telling us when the gates of hell open and close?
I don't know. That is so disturbing and ridiculous. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, that's a program. Those of you who are not familiar, I mean, you have to be. I think I'm the only guy around who doesn't have an iPhone. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
You can ask this AI, this artificial intelligence Siri, a question, and the chick talks back, man. I think that's crazy.
It's programmed somehow to have this information.
Somebody's putting that in there.
Well, have you looked at a date in between?
Well,
I mean, does it say the trees are on fire? Or
yeah, it'll be like a brief synopsis. September 4th or September 2nd. The packs of wild hellhounds will be trying to eat the hot dogs out of your butt. Or
see
something.
What happens. What? Oops, I was a little slow on that one.
Here's what I found on the web.
Oop.
What day is July 28th, 2014?
It's Monday, July 28th, 2014.
So there's nothing there extra.
Nothing happening that day.
Whoever programs Siri is going to be getting their ass handed to them, or they are privy to something we are not, and that is so scary.
Does Snowden work for Apple? Is there some docs we don't know about?
I mean, that's crazy, dude. Well, why? I mean, would you do that to be a kind of a smart ass and, you know, have a laugh and kind of freak people out? Maybe, you know?
I mean, somebody eventually is going to, because it's a, if you wanted to check a holiday or go through your calendar, even if you programmed a specific event into your calendar, say it lands on that day, somebody's going to realize that that's going to be an additional point to that day.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just weird. One of those weird things that I'm going to definitely sleep with one eye open on July 27th, 2014.
The gates of Hades open. What? Now, how many days is that? It was July 27th?
Yeah.
So if you got July 27th, you got all of August and the very, very first few days of September. Mm-hmm. I'm curious as to how many days that is.
I'd say about a 2.5, or about
a little over a month.
Yeah, a month and a half.
Just over a month.
Day of the gates of hell opening up. I think a lot can get out then, or go in. One of the two.
Right. I think it's a two-way doorway. I mean, that is just disturbing as hell. I can't, no pun intended, I can't imagine why somebody would do that.
Well, because it not only says it, but it shows it in parentheses in writing, the gates of Hades open.
Right.
So it's not just, us hearing things.
That is bizarre, dude. I mean, I don't know what to make of that.
Technically, the 27th of July is Arbor Day.
Arbor Day?
Is Arbor Day. So that's the day you're supposed to plant a tree. So we're going to dig a hole in the earth and open... No, just kidding. They're saying that not all apples have this, but while the Cult of Mac said it's due to a glitch in the iPhone Wolfram Alpha configuration, which directs Siri to give its response.
Sounds
like they're trying to cover it up now.
It has to do with the Chinese Ghost Month? M-O-N-T-H month.
Chinese they have a ghost month?
Yeah, which according to legend, the gates of heaven and hell open.
Oh, so the gates of heaven also open on that day.
This month is on the 7th month of the lunar year.
How come Siri doesn't bring that up?
Some speculated it had to do with the Muslim holy month of Ramadan.
I believe it's pronounced Ramadan.
Ramadan.
Well,
so, yeah, it must have something to do with lost in translation, I guess.
I don't know,
but I'm building my spaceship right away.
I'm not looking forward to it. I got lots of ammo. I got lots of guns and ammo.
But how are you going to shoot the dead?
Well, you got to get him in the head. Don't you watch Walking Dead? Jeez.
Gosh, everybody knows that.
Everybody knows you got to shoot him in the head.
Oh, I thought you just had to caress them and hold them like warm bodies, and they'll come back to life.
Mm-mm. What movie was that from?
Warm Bodies.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah,
was that the cartoon one or
no?
Animated?
It was there was like the Ultimate Extreme Zombies, and then there were like the Midland Zombies, and then there was the Earthlings, and this girl got this guy to like save her, and then he turned human again. But they had to kill the real zombies.
Sounds kind of Twilighty.
All right, here's
totally.
Here's my Greer thing.
Okay.
This is him in the disclosure hearings in Washington, and he talks about all the underground military bases, but he also refers to a 26-mile in diameter mothership in our solar system right now.
That would be a very large one by our standards.
That, you know what? That would make the one on Independence Day look like a dinghy by standards.
Yeah. Well, those were about 15 miles across.
15, so add another 11.
That was the mothership. The mothership, remember, it was like that was like hundreds of miles across.
But I know, it's like you've got you've got the big boat, and then you've got the
little lifeboats,
outer boat, and then you've got the dinghy. So it's like, a three-part system. But here, check this out. It's pretty cool.
All right. Words.
Here we go.
However,
you need to understand that the technologies that we have, and we were discussing, are not theoretical. We have actionable intelligence that any committee in Congress or executive action can find regarding current operations. And I just want to go through a list of them very quickly of these facilities and corporations for which we have witnesses who can be subpoenaed by the committees of the Congress. This was developed at the request of Congressman Christopher Cox of Orange County, with whom I met, and was later further developed for the briefing that we put together for President Obama. These facilities are the Edwards Air Force Base and subsections where at the dry lake bed where the Lockheed Skunk Works operations, Haystack Butte, China Lakes, George Air Force Base, and the closed Norton Air Force Base, where an anti-gravity device, so-called alien reproduction vehicle, for which we have the schematics, was seen by Frank Carlucci and others on our witness team. Tabletop Mountain and Blackjack Control. The aerospace facilities there are the Northrop Anthill Facility, Tejon Ranch, the McDonnell Douglas Llano Plant, Lockheed Martin Hellendale Plant, and the Phillips Lab. At the Nellis Air Force Facility, so-called Area 51, no one calls it that. There's S4 and S12, Pahut Mesa, Groom Lake, and a number of sub-facilities. The most important facility is in Utah, near Provo, the Dugway Proving Grounds, all of which is underground, and the airspace above it is classified. There are no roads into this facility. The New Mexico facilities include Los Alamos National Labs with underground connectors to the so-called Dulce area where the biological work is being done, and Kirtland Air Force Base. And the complex there includes Sandia National Laboratories, Phillips Labs, Manzano Mountain Weapons Storage Facility, Coyote Canyon, and the White Sands Complex. In Arizona, near Fort Huachuca, which is Army Intelligence Headquarters, there is a UGB underground base where one of our witnesses, who will testify, worked on 9 separate extraterrestrial vehicles that had been down through advanced electromagnetic pulse weapons, and there are several different species of extraterrestrial biologicals stored at that facility. The other facilities, and this goes on, include a special compartmented area of Cheyenne Mountain, where we have witnesses in our team who can be subpoenaed, where we have tracked extraterrestrial vehicles in our solar system that were measuring 26 miles in diameter. There are also facilities in Australia, a key one being Pine Gap, the so-called Alice Springs facility, which is mostly a U.S. Air Force facility, even though it is in Australia. I recently talked to the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia about this. Also, the Redstone Arsenal and the Marshall Space Flight Center. We have a scientist at the Redstone Arsenal who works under contract for IT&T, who have developed these transdimensional systems. He was under contract with my project to bring these energy devices out, and he was then threatened by a former CIA director and what I call the goon squad that went down there 3 years ago in March.
So there you have it. I mean, it's,
Right.
you know, the guy...
That was a congressional hearing.
Yeah.
So obviously somebody's taking this seriously. It's not just like, don't even give him a podium. Why do you want to give him a microphone? People are taking it seriously.
Well, it's funny is that you go down YouTube and you see comments on stuff, and there's so many uninformed people who still to this day. I mean,
it's a choice.
This is an intelligent human being.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is no dummy.
No, he's forgotten more than most people know.
Right. So the fact that you can, you know, not saying everything he says is the Holy Grail, but we have to take him somewhat seriously on his attempt. The Holy Grail.
Right. And here's another thing: is this guy sat down with a former director of the CIA,
mm-hmm.
and he was horrified that this former director had no idea what the frig he was talking about. He was like, "What? What? You don't know about this?" And the guy was like, "No, tell me. What are you talking about, dude?" And so Greer presented his evidence to this guy, and the guy was like, "Well, I'm going to start making some phone calls." He was blackballed from every inquiry he made.
That guy was the head of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was shut out.
Right. He was head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
They hung up on him.
He's like, don't you know who I am? Click.
Right. Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. And Greer was horrified by this. So we have also, in the rabbit hole, we've discussed private and secret groups. Well, there it is. Mm-hmm. Every president pretty much since Nixon has been shut out of this. Completely shut out of this. President Clinton made a serious inquiry during his, I think it was his second term, and you may have heard the clip where he says, if they found something in Roswell, they didn't tell me about it, and I want to know too. He was consistently shut out as well. And somebody came up to, Dr. Greer had a friend, he didn't want to name, but he had a friend over for dinner at his home, and the guy said flat out that there were people in Clinton's staff that didn't want him to end up like Jack Kennedy.
Right. That's why they said he should be the one to...
Because he's expendable.
Right. He's like, well, I'm the fall guy.
Right. But, not that Clinton was expendable, but that Dr. Greer was expendable. Mm-hmm. And that's frightening and terrifying. So clearly the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. We had a guy, a high-up guy, come on up to the podium and say that we're missing $2.3 trillion. We have no idea where it's at. It's gone. Nobody wants to wonder where that. Nobody wonders where that money is. Nobody can dig deep enough. It all goes to these black projects, the reverse engineering and the research and development type stuff. So very interesting stuff.
Well, I found it curious that and correct me if I misunderstood what was said there. They said that they downed UFOs with the magnetic pulse guns. Was that said in there?
Well, I think it's just off of radar. I don't think it's an actual gun. I'm sure they do have stuff that is like, refined and can fire straight at something, but I think it's just standard radar type stuff. It's a frequency that they can emit out of them.
Well, they talk about actually they were doing experiments with EMP type stuff, and supposedly during the Roswell incident, the radar thing is something that has been put out there, but supposedly they were doing some testing with this electromagnetic thing, and that's what caused the EMF problem with the craft and downed it. So
right,
that's one of the things said out in the conspiracy world.
Well, we are working on the EMF technology and using it on the ground now, and also the heat guns. So I wonder if those are technology we see in the movies, how we can never take down these ships, but maybe those are some technologies that...
Well, I think it was still an accident either way, and they stumbled across something.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of like, it was
this
kind
works.
of a eureka moment for them.
Right.
But that also being said, these railguns they're working on, these naval vessels, I think we see evidence of that from the ISS, the space station. You've seen the footage of the UFO that comes in, and it kind of slows down, then it takes off, and then you see something go up in the air right behind it as it takes off.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it is incredible. I think that was a railgun.
From the space station?
Yeah, the ISS.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing there.
Or
because if it was electromagnetic pulse weaponry, you wouldn't see it.
Right, the footage is from that, but I think it's probably the SDI, the Star Wars Defense Initiative, that was...
It came from the ground, though.
No, this was already out in the air, dude. I don't think that came from the ground.
It came from below the clouds, so, I mean, I don't know.
Because it looks like it shot across.
Yeah, it looks like it comes straight up. To me, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but it looks like
that video.
It was, it's an interesting clip.
Well,
I think that's what we're seeing there.
I was looking for the how many mile wide?
26
mile wide object, and I found that NASA's Stereo spacecraft, which is set out to photograph things, has a picture of something almost the size of Mercury right next to Mercury.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And in one shot it's there, and one shot it's gone, and one shot it's there.
Well, what's even more impressive is a photograph of that strange ship in front of the sun. Very reminiscent, in my opinion, of the craft that you see in the movie Prometheus. It's kind of that crescent, weird, tubular, no rhyme or reason. Because we're humans and we'd like to think of things aerodynamic or hydrodynamic even. But when you're in space, it doesn't matter what the shape of the object is. It doesn't matter at all.
Well, especially if you're bending space and time, and it's not about aerodynamics. You're just opening up a zipper hole of space and time, and
right.
You know,
and that's why in Stephenville, Texas, in 2008, we have eyewitness testimony of rectangular craft that are a mile long, half a mile across, emits some type of heat as a result, I think, of its propulsion system. They kind of like those heat waves you see off the streets, you know, on a really super hot day or out in the desert. It had that, and then he said it took off. It didn't make a sound, and there was no inertia. Like something that big that was right above the tree line, he looked at it through a scope and everything, and it just takes off, right? You would think that would suck him up off the ground. Something that large taking off that speed, it would just, you know, kill everything around, but it didn't even make the trees blow.
Well, you know, when we had our guest on, Ricky, when he talked about being in the craft and his way to the moon, it seemed like they pulled the moon to them.
Right.
Almost.
They were bending space and time.
Right. To get there that fast. Not saying that their linear travel isn't fast enough. I would imagine they could probably, you know, supposedly we can get to, with some of our technology, get to the moon in an hour, basically.
Right. And he explained it in, 10 seconds? He said it took about 10 seconds.
Right. So that seems to me that it would be a way of that type of, I guess, movement of bending space and time, pulling the fabric of that area to you.
But if you wanted to break that down, the moon is 250,000 miles away from Earth. He got there in 10 seconds. That is crazy fast. That's beyond anything that I've seen, of course, but, you know, whatever. We'll get back on some UFO stuff here, but in the meantime, I've been kind of sitting on this. A lot of people have seen it, made it MSN's headline news and stuff, but supposedly this cat down in San Antonio, Texas, or from San Antonio, Texas, guy by the name of Rick Dyer, he claims he lured the creature with $200 worth of ribs before trapping and killing it on September 6, 2012. He plans to make the body... take the body on a nationwide tour. Now, he claims he killed a Bigfoot.
There's a Bigfoot thing, huh?
Yeah, there's a picture of it.
Is that the one with the face that
it's frozen? Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, when you look at this face, and I look at the hair, it just screams fake to me.
Right.
But...
What's the name of this cat?
His name is Rick Dyer, D-Y-E-R. He claims he killed it on September 6, 2012. He's been sitting on it for a while. Here, I'll go on. Not only has Bigfoot been found, but he's been photographed, examined, and DNA tested. So says a Texan man who claims he killed the mythical creature over a year ago in the woods outside of San Antonio. Rick Dyer said he plans to tour Bigfoot around the country after releasing a picture of him last week. Bigfoot is not a tooth fairy. Bigfoot is real, Dyer told TV station KSAT in San Antonio. The most important thing to me is being vindicated. Letting people know that I am the best Bigfoot tracker in the world, and it's not just me saying it.
Hunt to kill, kill to hunt.
Great white hunter. And of course, it's a guy from Texas. They got guns in their bowls of Cheerios. I tracked the creature. I shot it. With tears in my eyes, I watched it take its last breath. He acts like he took Old Yeller out to put him down, you know. In an account of the incident, Dyer, a self-described professional Bigfoot hunter, said people reported a giant hairy beast in the wooded area, and he bought ribs from a local Walmart that he nailed to a tree to lure the beast. Is that a shameless plug for Walmart?
Well,
I think Walmart hired this guy. That's how good they say their ribs are, you know what I'm saying? Our ribs are so good, we had a hand in killing Bigfoot.
Well, you know, it seems to me that the guy, when you pull the trigger, you can't go back and say you felt bad. You know, you chose to pull that trigger.
Well, he's not the first one to say that. You know, there was that other dude who said he killed an adolescent Sasquatch years ago, and he said that, in retrospect, he said he was jacked up. He was like, yeah, I'm going to kill this sucker and become rich and famous. But after he did it, he was overwhelmed with guilt because of it was so human-like, and he was just like, it made him feel like a murderer. Is it real? I don't know. Is this real? I don't know. All I know is I'm pretty up to speed on all the leading cryptozoologists and the guys who were like head of the Bigfoot, you know, projects. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of Rick Dyer until now. That being said, I'm not saying that he did not do this. I'm certainly not saying he did. The picture is kind of interesting. It is reminiscent of the Patterson-Gimlin footage, if you've ever seen that. the hair and whatnot. It does look very human. It's very disturbing. So
if there was more hair around the eyes and the nose, I would call Wookiee.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't they say they sent it to WSU up here in Washington? For
just samples. He's sitting on the body because he knows what will happen.
Yeah.
If in fact it is real, the government will swoop in and they will take that sucker so fast his head will spin.
I saw a picture of the old the Patterson Gimlin where he's walking. Somebody had a picture of it and put the old the belt and the satchel, the Wookiee satchel on.
Dicks.
Thought it was funny.
It is kind of funny. In an account of the incident, Dyer, a self-described professional Bigfoot hunter, said people reported a giant hairy beast in the wooded area, and he bought ribs from a local Walmart that he nailed to a tree to lure in the beast. Dyer said his hands went numb as he aimed the gun at Bigfoot after it ripped the ribs off the tree and walked away. Rick Morgan Matthews, the director of the documentary Shooting Bigfoot, then purchased $200 worth of ribs and nailed them all over the area. Finally, he said, Bigfoot walked directly... I love it how people say Bigfoot like there's one.
Right,
I saw Bigfoot.
Like the...
Yeah, I saw Bigfoot in Pennsylvania. This other guy's like, I saw Bigfoot in British Columbia. I saw Bigfoot in Alaska. You know, he gets around.
What would be big feet?
A Sasquatch.
Yeah,
you know, or a Bigfoot.
A Bigfoot.
Yeti.
Yeti. Let me see here. Rick and Morgan Matthews, director of documentary Bigfoot, then purchased 200. Okay, I went over that. Finally, he said, Bigfoot walked directly in front of him, and all hell broke loose. Dyer chased after Bigfoot and shot him. That night, Rick Dyer became known as the best Bigfoot tracker in the world and changed history the way we know it, the account proclaims. But this is not the first time Dyer has claimed to find Bigfoot's body. Now listen closely. The National Geographic News, which, they're really reliable, reported in 2008 that Dyer claimed to media that he had a Bigfoot body that later turned out to be a rubber ape costume. But despite his history of past Bigfoot hoaxes, Dyer insists this time it's real and he has the studies to prove it.
See, that's where we...
Oh, yeah, dude, that's when you start, the old cuckoo, cuckoo,
right.
Clock starts going off.
I bullshitted you before, but this time...
Right. You know, I will not be satisfied until the world's leading cryptozoologist and the world's leading anthropologist, which they are both the same person, and Dr. Jelf Meldrum, goes and he investigates the body, and then if he says that's what it is, I will believe it.
Right.
Until then, this guy's full of shit.
It just screams nonsense, you know. Unless, right, like you're saying, unless there's a definite press conference on it where they're, you know, presenting the evidence nationally, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
At the same time, it makes you wonder if this is what mainstream media does with a story this big. I mean, what if he really did get it?
And they're possible.
They're just kind of like, run a little box on the scroll on MSN's homepage and see what people think of it.
Right.
But everyone is so used to just being dismissive and just going, whatever.
But just it's already showing that he's taking time to go through the trouble to present false evidence.
Right.
Why is this any different?
Right. Dyer, who did not return a request for comment, has yet to release more pictures and the results of these tests. But he has shown about 130 people the body and a video of their reactions. Many of the people seemed convinced as they entered the vehicle and looked down at the body, which apparently has been preserved quite well considering it was killed 16 months ago. Oh my gosh, why is he so tall? Asked one boy in the video. Because he's Bigfoot, man, Dyer exclaimed. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, the whole carnival atmosphere of it, you know, if I was in a position, you know, personally, I would never shoot one. I just wouldn't. I'd be more likely to shoot a regular person because they piss me off. But why would you kill something like this that's clearly so rare?
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. But even if I came across a body that died of natural causes, whether it be at old age or if it fell from a tree or fell off a cliff or something like that, I would be so, like, mega secretive about this, dude. It's like me, you, and maybe one other person would know, period. And that's it.
Right.
But I don't know where I'd go from there. Might end up like this cat.
I think you'd have to have the footage of the hunt, like some sort of... I mean, if you're going to go on that, you're going to have...
He does.
He's got the documentation of the hunt.
He's got some footage of him being in a tent, and this Bigfoot comes along. I think this was before he shot it, though. I think this was like from another time when he was out. He didn't get a shot at it, but it like walks up to this tree and it starts eating something off the tree, and it's really vague. I mean, could it be a buddy in a costume? Yeah, probably. It could be, but
well, it reminds me of I know a lot of people have really dogged this, but the guy who went out, in the woods and hit that alien on the head that killed his dog was killed.
Yeah, he was a doctor too, wasn't he?
Yeah, not like a medical doctor, but he had doctor credentials. I'm not sure what his MD meant, but yeah. So something like that where you have the footage of the event taking place, and I'm trying to remember that guy's name, but that's a good one to check out.
It is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much all I'm going to give this guy right now. I've been kind of sitting on it because I've been waiting for the, someone to come up and say, yeah, we just sent a team of doctors out there. They're like, yeah, it's got, elk hair, or, it's something off of somebody's fur coat from the 70s, and they just put it around this dummy's face. I don't know. Again, it looks reminiscent of the Patterson-Gimlin footage, but I'm not willing to stick my neck out and say that this guy got a Bigfoot there.
Dr. Jonathan Reed. That's who I'm talking about.
Oh, Jonathan Reed?
Yeah, with the Reed case, and I mean, it's pretty. That's pretty convincing stuff. I'm just saying, if he had some sort of footage like that, video footage that showed the event, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd think you'd want to document that for proof if you're actually on the hunt.
Right. I've watched that video, and I remember you telling me about it years ago, and so I looked it up. I'm still not totally convinced that's all real. It's very convincing and it's good. I don't know.
The problem for me is
it's almost too good to be true.
The blinking eyes.
Yeah.
The he's got a lot of recorded footage.
In a time where CG wasn't quite there yet.
Not to mention the fact that you see a difference in paleness after it's been hit, and when it's warmer, and the fact of
his dog was what looked like what was left of his dog on the ground was pretty weird too, because didn't it just go?
Yeah,
I mean, this alien just disintegrated his dog.
Well, I think supposedly it grabbed onto its arm, and where the bracelet was that came off, some sort of, they call it the link. It vibrated massively and just disintegrated his dog.
Mm-hmm.
And which is reminiscent of what Spielberg does with War of the Worlds, when the alien ships blast a human, they just turn into powder like an ash. But
right.
The other thing that draws me on a believable side is that the obelisk craft that's in the video footage, I've personally seen something similar.
Right.
So that's
a lot of people have, but yeah, the fact that you have,
right.
That's I absolutely 100% believe you saw what you say you saw. 100%, because I've known you for almost 20 years and we've gone over this stuff, but I don't know that cat.
Well, I didn't even know about this story until after the event that I saw this thing, and when I was watching an old show called Cosmic Connector.
Whoa.
But anyway, I'm hearing music.
Did you have a commercial? Not anymore. It was a commercial.
Oh, but there was a picture of this obelisk thing, and I looked at my wife when that thing came on. I was like, "That's it.
Yeah,
that's what we saw." And it blew my mind. So,
and it looks pretty convincing. The only thing is like what who were those guys that used to debunk everything? Because they had all sorts of money and backing, and so it's like.
Oh, are you talking about Fact or Faked?
Yeah, that's it. Oh God, I can't believe that show's not on still.
Right. Yeah, but, they trapped that guy, and
because they duplicate it. Just because, and we've said this time and time again too, James and I have. Just because you can replicate something doesn't mean the original isn't real. We can replicate a lot of stuff too, but
and they didn't even match what he did.
No,
and that's the thing, is that
they just focused on the craft sitting in one spot.
Right. And yeah, there's truth. There's elements of the craft that Jonathan Reed describes that only somebody who has seen, which I have, the detail. He said it was cold to the touch, and it was like liquid inside. It was almost like liquidy,
like
inside.
kind of jelly.
Right. And the one that I saw, you could see through it, and it had sort of a liquidy light coming through the nose of it. So I mean, that's some detail that you can't fake that.
Right.
You know.
Well,
so,
it'd be awful hard to, man. I mean.
Well, without having the knowledge of it, you can't describe that from just a black, plywood-made prop.
Right, that they've rattle-canned.
Right. So
rattle-canned it. In other news, there's a big rash of UFO sightings down in California, which, California has always been kind of the hottest spot. It really has been.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity in Cali.
I don't know why that is, man, especially out there by, like, Catalina and what they call the UFO triangle, it goes from L.A. to Catalina and up a little further north.
Because people in California are from another planet.
Yeah, they're kind of trippy. But on New Year's Eve, this is what happened here. California residents claimed they saw strange lights in the sky on New Year's morning. While federal authorities say there has been no unusual flight activity in that area, those who witnessed the unidentified lights say they were not mistaken about what they saw. And this is from a witness here. I seen like 6 bright orange-colored lights, Kay Penlack from Stockton, California said. And they are almost like a diamond or a triangle shape. It was weird, and so they started just separating. The lights were spotted by residents from Placer County to the Hollywood Hills.
Well, at least you didn't say sharded.
Yeah, I can. Each witness has had a different way of describing what they saw, which is a problem, and it's something that's going to happen. Eyewitness testimony is highly unreliable unless you get in a group sighting. That's pretty much the only way you can dissect this. If it's one person, you're kind of like, But if there was 20, 30, 40, 50, hundreds, and in Phoenix Lights cases, tens of thousands of witnesses, you can kind of narrow it down to something really happened. And it sounds kind of like that's what took place here. Whatever it was moved up and to the left. Stephen Brown of Sacramento told News 10, adding that the object made no sound. It hovered there for probably about 60 seconds, then it took off at a high rate of speed. No sound, no blinking lights, just this big illuminated form. So, I mean, that's interesting.
You know what I miss? I miss UFO hunters.
They got too close to the truth, man.
Man, I love that show.
It was good.
I miss that show.
Well, blame it on Kevin.
Damn it, Kevin.
It was Kevin, dude. Once they got rid of Dr. Ted Ackworth, or he removed himself from the group, they brought this guy in who he had a degree in what, engineering. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to discredit that. That's a kind of a big time, that's a serious study degree. But
yeah,
Ackworth,
most NASCAR guys have one.
But Ackworth, they also marry their sisters. But Ackworth, he brought something to the table, I thought. And I would like to know. That's one of my biggest questions. Why did Ted leave?
Well, I think my problem with a lot of it is the fact that even if you have a skeptical side or an objective side to an investigation, you still have amplitudes of evidence that UFOs are real. So most of the time, even in certain episodes of you can't always prove it in an episode of that this happened or this ET craft existed or whatnot. But
well, plus you got Bill jumping off the deep end on every single thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I could have thrown a hubcap in the air, took a picture. He'd be like, "This is real." You know what I mean?
God bless you, Bill Burns.
I love the guy, and he's very astute. He is a learned doctor, for real.
Well, he's an attorney
and a PhD. He's both, and that's impressive. That sometimes the
I think
credentials don't carry it.
I think a lot of that too could be him relaying theories and them editing it in to make him look nutty.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, editing can change the entire look of a show.
But then you got what was that? Well, okay. For instance, a good example of that is like some of these reality shows, like Big Brother and all this other crap stuff that my wife watches. Sorry, honey, but I think they edit people to make them look like the bad guy too, even if they're not.
Right.
Like you said, editing can make you look crazy. But he did have a lot of opportunities to make himself look kind of crazy, where they'd be talking to the witness, and then he would say something, like, oh, well, and then I saw these small figures come out, and he was just like totally. He saw aliens getting off an alien craft, and Pat would just roll his eyes. He'd just be like, ah.
Right. and you exactly. I mean, I definitely get the direction you're coming from, because even if you're describing an event, but you can't present the facts that is actually. I mean, there could be ARV flying midgets. We don't know, unless you have the proof. Even like back to Greer, he's discussed that they have gray or alien type figures that are androids, right?
Yeah, EBs.
Right. So that being said, and we've seen footage from the Dulce base where there's creatures or entities that look like these gray aliens in tubes, right? So maybe they're manufacturing this, kind of like we see like the Clone Wars where they're cloning these things. I mean, if you think about it, if you have the technology from or help from an intelligent species, then you're going to have some knowledge, right? You're going to get some knowledge and maybe know how to do this type of cloning stuff. When was the first clone of what was it? A sheep or a dog?
It was a sheep, and her name was Dolly.
Okay, so if that's being presented publicly, the knowledge that we don't hear about is probably a lot more advanced. Even robotics. Look at robotics these days. Robotics is pretty far advanced in artificial intelligence. There's robots made that can react to musicians.
Right. And
not only that, but they have I was watching a robotics guy who created two brains. One was it was like a human, the way we have a thinking brain, and then more of a improvised brain, right? An artistic brain. Mm-hmm. And the findings were that the improvised brain, the musicians liked, or artists or whatever, they liked that side of the robot better than the thinking, more analytical brain.
Right.
So, these steps towards artificial intelligence are right there, and that's publicly known.
Right.
What's hiding under the advancements that we don't see.
Right. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's one of those things that we've talked about this several times, that we are relatively young in this universe, and we're relatively young. Mm-hmm. The universe is approximately, what they say, 14. Gosh darn it, these ads! I tell you what, the universe is the universe is 14.3 billion years old, I believe, is what they say. Depends on who you ask, but then there are those religious groups out there that think that the Earth is only 6,000 years old and stuff like that. So I don't even want to touch that because I'll get death mail. But right. We have gone from the Wright brothers to going to the moon in, what was it, 60 years, 50 years. Mm-hmm. Who's to say a civilization that had been around for 1,000 years, longer than us, 10,000 years, 100,000, 2, 3, 4, 5 million years, and somehow did not blow themselves up? Where would they be technologically? Look how far we have gone in just the past 10 years with our own technology that we interface with every single day. So, that's all I'm saying is you have to keep an open mind to this type of stuff.
Well, even Greer, he talks about he's got an iPhone and I got an iPhone 4, but this is old technology. This is technology that was presented back in the 40s. Mm-hmm. This is just a root of that age. So. Well,
he also talks about on the Joe Rogan show that sorry, I'm trying to read and think at the same time, but he talked about the phones and stuff like that. But for instance, Gosh, dude, I think I'm getting cyber attacked.
MK Ultra.
I think it's right on the tip of my tongue, and then it just goes away, man.
I gotcha.
I'm being smart metered. Help me. Anyways, the reason I was getting sidetracked is because I was looking at this thing that came out January 14th. The Washington Post examines the Iran news claim that Nazi space aliens run the USA. This is for real, people. Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I can. Washington Post examines Iran news claim that Nazi space aliens run the United States of America. I've been sitting on this, too, because I've been waiting for something else to come out, but nothing really else has.
Well, it goes back to the tall whites.
Yes. On Monday, the Washington Post released the most unusual story with the headline, Iranian news agency says the U.S. is secretly run by Nazi space aliens. Though the author, Max Fisher, along with Washington Post foreign staff, qualified the headline with the word, really. It was clear that this was breaking news.
Really?
This was breaking news. The Washington Post foreign staff were given a fresh perspective to the word foreign by seriously examining claims by the Iranian media that the U.S. was being run by space aliens. Normally, such claims are found in conspiracy websites and the alternative media. Yeah, they were talking about us. Here, I lost my spot. Yeah, okay. So anyway, now a bastion of Fourth Estate... Now a bastion of the Fourth Estate, was examining such claims with gusto. Yes, Fars news agency, Iran's semi-official news outlet, was indeed claiming that the U.S. was run by space aliens. And this merited a response by no less than the Washington Post. The floodgates were now opened. The U.S. and other world media dutifully followed the Post's lead and began running their own stories. Forbes, Jerusalem Post, UPI, Huffington Post, The Blaze, and other news sources were now covering the Iranian stunning claim. Was it all Iranian propaganda, or is there some truth behind the claim that a group of space aliens are secretly running the world's last remaining superpower?
Well, we have to think about this whole plan that von Braun talks about.
Von Braun on the roundabout.
The roundabout.
They don't get that. That's just us. That's our joke. So everyone's going, what are they talking about?
Well, this hoax alien invasion seems to be quite the talk of the town lately in our media type stuff, and they bring up the tall whites and the fact that Hitler was in search of these Aryan beings, whether they're the same thing. To me, when they talk about these beings, they're blue eyes, they're which, if you look at, say, the Chase Bank, it has the symbol of, it looks like a blue retina, right? And or iris or whatever. And same with Egyptian figures, they have this blue eyes.
CBS.
Right. So, does it tie into that? I don't know. But when you hear Charlie Hall talk about the tall whites, I don't think they fit that same description as some describe tall Germans.
Yeah, they seem to be a lot more human-like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll read to you guys what their claim is. To begin with, let's turn to the original story by the Fars News Agency that appeared on Sunday with the title, Snowden Documents Proving U.S. Alien Hitler Link Stun Russia. Fars began the story as follows. A stunning Federal Security Services, FSB, report on the nearly 2 million highly classified top-secret documents obtained from the United States Department of Defense, DoD, run National Security Agency, Central Security Agency by the American expatriate Edward Snowden, states that this information is providing incontrovertible proof, I say that word real fast 5 times, alien extraterrestrial intelligence agenda is driving U.S. domestic and international policy and has been doing so since at least 1945. I would love to read the whole report here, but
supposedly nobody has been able to find. There's been controversy that there is no such documents that he claims that existed.
Snowden,
right? And there's people that are like, where are these documents?
Well, if they didn't exist, why would Cheney be? You could hear him say, "I'd kill that." You know what I mean? That guy needs to be shot. He's a traitor.
Well, right. Talking about, of course, the NSA and the surveillance
spying
program
on their own citizens.
But as far as like him conveying that there's tall white ETs running the U.S., supposedly there's no such documents, but that's the controversy anyway.
Right. So the only source for Farr's stunning claim was a story by Sorcefal on the conspiracy website, whatdoesitmean.com. Fall has a notorious reputation for sprinkling patent falsehoods with genuine information and is viewed suspiciously by many conspiracy theorists. Nevertheless, Farrs went on to reference an interview given by former Canadian Defense Minister Paul Hellyer to Russia Today as confirmation for his story. In the interview, Hellyer cites his own research and experiences supporting his claim that the world has been visited by extraterrestrials for thousands of years and that the U.S. leaders began being visited by aliens shortly after the Second World War. Hellyer cited Charles Hall, a former U.S. Air Force man who claims to have personally witnessed high-level cooperation between a race of extraterrestrials he calls tall whites and very senior Pentagon officials at Nellis Air Force Base in the early 1960s. Hall has written 4 books about his experience after when he first went public in 2004. Farrs gave a news twist to Hellyer's and Hall's claims by claiming that the tall white extraterrestrials were behind the stunning technological rise of Nazi Germany. The tall whites therefore qualified as Nazi space aliens and the collapse of the Nazi Germany. Then began cooperating with the U.S. Over the decades of cooperation since, the tall whites had gradually taken over key elements of the U.S. national security establishment. According to Farrs, all this was the final conclusion reached in the top-secret study conducted by the Russian state security organization, FSB, who was the successor to the KGB, after researching Edward Snowden's leaked NSA documents.
Check this out.
Drink that in for a second.
See what this has to say here. It's only 44 seconds long here.
Let her rip.
Oops. I'm not getting any sound here.
And now some fresh pickings from the political grapevine. Our top story today was Iran taunting the U.S. over the sanctions negotiations. Now an Iranian news agency is making some other accusations about the U.S., and they're interesting. The Washington Post writes, Farrs, which describes itself as Iran's leading independent news agency, claims documents leaked by Edward Snowden provide, quote, incontrovertible proof that an alien or extraterrestrial intelligence agenda is driving U.S. domestic and international policy. One Washington Post blogger wrote that while the story is entertaining and filled with bizarre conspiracy theories, quote, this is a reminder of how some hardliners see the world.
Who was that?
That was, I don't know who the guy was. Somebody from Fox News.
Sounded familiar. I always just go under the old adage that if it comes from Fox News, it's a lie.
Well,
but I think that goes for all of them. Really?
You know, it goes back to if you're going to set up an event such as, say, a hoax alien invasion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want as much, I guess, evidence pointing towards the fact that they're real. You want to put it out at a certain time so it gets out in the media that these things exist and whatnot. Whether, real ETs are involved or not.
Right.
Which it doesn't sound like, but, I don't know. But it seems like it's lining itself up. We had, Carol Roslin who was Werner von Braun, or not Werner von Braun. Why do I keep...
Roundabout. Sorry, Lord Vader, it's roundabout.
I always Werner von Braun, and he was the German missile guy, but
yeah, he was the developer.
You know what I'm talking about? God dang it, the Blue Book.
Heineck,
Jalon Heineck. Sorry.
Ding 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 ding. This is where balloons and ticker tape starts falling out of the ceiling.
Yeah. Woohoo! But he has this thing of that Carol Roslin discusses about there's going to be these false wars, this false
flag attack.
These false flags. We're going to have meteor. There's going to be a scare of our planet jeopardized by meteors, which is happening now.
Right.
And
but how do you fake that?
Who knows? I don't know. I mean,
you know what I mean? Because that one that hit Russia scared the bejesus out of me. And
we don't know. I mean, we don't know the technologies that are out there. If they have this type of technology, maybe somebody has the ability to hurl things, or
right. Well, basically they're talking about having holographic ships in our atmosphere. They're supposed to be holographic.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cause major disruption. There's going to be people. There's going to be religious groups jumping on it. There's going to be the kooks, if you will. There's going to be people like James and I who are just trying to get the scientific facts of it, trying to figure it out. But, I mean, I don't know. I almost welcome it because why wait? You know what I mean? If all this stuff is going to happen, it's almost like, when I was younger and I'd be at a bar and some guy be eyeballing me, I would just go up there and go, dude, let's just get it on because the suspense is killing me. You know what I mean? I'm just sick of it. Why? What's the suspense of pleasantries?
Like that too.
Kind of. But you know what I mean? I don't like stuff hovering over me. It gives me anxiety, which runs in the family. So, it's genetic predisposition. What can I say?
It's true. John is very no nonsense.
I've done a lot of things in Vegas, but I haven't been arrested. I should take you sometime.
No. I'm married happily with children, and I got a job.
So, well, I got this. This is kind of timely, but it's pretty good information. This is Dr. Carol, and it's Rosin. I guess I was pronouncing it wrong. I was saying Roslyn. But this is her speaking in the Disclosure Project. This is her talking about the last card, which is the false alien invasion. And this is good information. It's YouTube stuff. So.
Okay.
Here we go. It's a little lengthy, but it should be good.
All right. It's coming up on the roundabout.
That's right.
Good morning. My name is Carol Rosin. In 1974, after being a sixth grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Wernher von Braun in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him during that first 3.5 hours,
I guess it was Wernher von Braun.
Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space.
I was thinking Jan Hunt.
And I said, teachers don't stop until June. He said, no, you have to understand, this is February. And we have to prevent the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians. There are many enemies, he said, against whom we're going to build this space-based weapon system. The first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids. And then he would repeat to me over and over, and the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat. Well, at the time, I kind of laughed when he said asteroids, and when he said extraterrestrials, I knew I wasn't going to deal with that subject. And now we hear on the news just today, this week, that they slid in another enemy. Only this time we're going to protect our satellites. In other words, we have to have some reason to spend these trillions to waste these dollars on a space-based weapon system, and they're all lies. This is a system, he told me, that would never protect anyone. Even back then, he talked about suitcase bombs. He talked about chemical, viral, bacterial, biological warfare that these space-based weapons would never protect us against. And then he told me that, in fact, if you travel around the world, which I did after he died in 1977, I met with people in over 100 countries who were friends. They didn't want to build space-based weapons. I became a space and missile defense consultant. And I worked with people around the world. I became an advisor to the People's Republic of China. They don't want to build a space-based weapon system.
Yeah, I'm sure they were totally honest with her, too.
And he told me back then that they didn't. He said, go to Russia. They're considered to be the enemy. I got on a plane by myself. When I got to Russia, I had a list of people that I had read out of the newspaper. Chernenko was in office then. He was the only one I didn't get a chance to meet. They introduced me to everyone when I got there. And when I got back, I said, oh my Lord, this man is telling the truth. There is no threat. And I've been waiting until this day for 27 years, and I'm expecting the spin to happen, because he also explained to me that as a military strategist, as a person who worked on the MX missile, which I did later, He said, you will find that there is going to be a spin to find some enemy against whom we have to build space-based weapons. And now we should expect the spin, because he said part of the formula for the intelligence community is if they might have a weapon, then we have to consider that they do have these weapons. So now they do have these weapons, so now we have to build these weapon systems. And that's the formula, except that it's all based on a lie. And we...
So, you know...
Right. Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Right.
That's disturbing stuff. Now, this is somebody who's very intelligent and worked with one of the smartest human beings who's ever stepped foot on the planet.
Right. So it was
Braun.
Werner von Braun. For some reason, I kept thinking J. Allen Hynek. They're both German, right?
Right.
Everybody's German.
Right, yeah. Hey, I'm going to give that phone number out. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. Maybe not a commercial, but I am going to play a song by James here and his buddy Gabe. It's called Illuminati. So right after.
That's corn.
And I have I have a calculation for you too when we get back.
A calculation?
Yep.
2 plus 2 is 22.
The miles per hour to the moon in 10 seconds.
Oh, awesome.
Sweet.
I'm down. So what was the name of that song, James?
The one that we did is called Vote with a Bullet.
Okay, right on. All right, man. So I'm gonna give the phone number out, 360-977-5483, 360-977 live. If you guys want to give us your opinions or whatever on the subject matter we're talking about, or it could be something totally different. Whatever. Stay tuned. You're on KouvRadio.com. You're on the Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Let me repeat that. Not only did Congress authorize the use of force, it is briefed on every strike that America
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Okay, welcome. Is there anything I can get you before we start? Glass of water?
You may dispense with the pleasantries.
Okay, great. Tom, Darth Vader, take one.
At the end of the road, turn round.
Okay, I'm going to stop you. The line is at the end of the road, turn right.
That is what I said.
Terrific. So let's just try it again. Tom, voice, Darth Vader, take two.
At the end of the road, turn round. At the end of the road, turn round.
Let's just go forward. Okay, we're at page 5.
Page 5?
I'm sorry, page 7. We're at page 7.
I don't have a page 7. You have reached your destination.
Is there any way you could breathe a little quieter?
What do you mean quieter? This is how I breathe. Please take the third exit on the roundabout.
It's roundabout.
Correct. Roundabout.
You're saying roundabout. It's roundabout. Is there any way you can make it sound a little less depressing?
Exit right ahead.
Don't force it. Just make it sound natural.
You should have seen his face when I told him I was his father. I told my son, who did not know that I was his father, that I was his father.
Yeah, and there's a twin sister involved.
Here it is.
Whoa.
Roundabout. Round-a-bound.
You know what, let's move forward. That's fine.
Silence.
Welcome back to the Rabbit Hole, ladies and gentlemen. That is so awesome. You know what? Roundabout, that's what I said. We talk about heavy-duty stuff, and this is a moment of levity, man.
I love that.
Ow, my chest hurts. Roundabout, that's what I said.
Okay, so earlier in the show, we said that the trip to the moon took about 10 minutes?
10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds? Crap.
Oh, you did the wrong math.
Let me multiply this by 10.
Well, math is hard. There's some numbers and stuff.
It's like, there's too many of them.
Yeah, they suck. So,
I had a calculator, speed calculator, and it wouldn't let me go after a certain number, so I had to divide it into quarters and tenths and stuff like that because the calculator's like, error. Nothing can go that fast.
Right.
So we're looking at...
We're doing math.
14,173,000 miles per hour.
That'll do it.
It's pretty fast.
That is fast.
But see, what is the speed of light?
The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. So times that by 60. 186,000 times 60.
So it'd be quicker just to bend space and time and just be there, right?
Right. But it would, more or less, it'd still be the same thing, wouldn't it? I mean, if you got from point A to point B at a certain amount of time, whether you brought it to you or you did folded space, it would still have a number.
What, between speed and time?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Kessel Run?
Isn't that more of a thing of distance and not speed?
So that's
but it's still linear.
11,280,000.
So that's faster than the speed of light.
Oh, greatly.
Yeah.
But it's still linear, which
right.
They don't travel linear, right?
Right, and that's what Dr. Stephen Greer was talking about on the Joe Rogan show. Is he was like, they don't travel in a linear fashion. So the speed of light is basically a dead concept because it's pointless. If you wanted to go from our solar system to the nearest solar system, which is gosh darn it, what's it called? Beta Reticuli. It would take you, I think, 10,000 years to go at the speed of light. You'd get there in 10,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how far that is.
So it doesn't make sense that they would travel.
They wouldn't be able to.
It makes more sense that they're extra-dimensional rather than
they're using
extraterrestrial.
wormholes or
right.
Something else that and when I say we, I don't mean our brightest minds and our people with unlimited taxpayer dollars that we continually fund on unknowingly. I'm talking about we, the people, the regular people. We don't know. We can't really... Yeah, dude, we're dumb. We've got smart meters and we aspartame all day like, when's the Kardashians on, Or,
we got smartphones, too.
Right, because we're too dumb to think for ourselves. So we have smartphones. Siri.
Well,
Siri will answer everything.
They're like a nacho app.
She'll even tell you when the gates of Hades are opening and closing, apparently. So.
Well, just so you can take a day off. You got to be able to prepare, right?
Or a month.
I'm not going to work. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use all my vacation in that.
Well,
time.
I think it's a weekend day anyway, so.
I'm going to build a wall.
It's on a Sunday, so we'll have it off.
A hell-proof wall. I'm going to have, like, priests come out and bless it. I'm going to hire a group of priests, like clerics. You know what I mean? Come out and protect my land.
Put some holy water on your fence and your dog.
Something, man. That's scary stuff.
I noticed while we were on break we had a caller, so caller, if you want to go ahead and call back, the line is open. Sorry, I was not at the table and we were in the middle of the song.
And that is 360-977-LIVE, 360-977-5483.
Give us a jingle.
Yeah, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about at this point. Did you recognize the number?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. It's someone that's called in before.
Okay.
So. I just don't know if it's the one that we're thinking of.
Because I will wreck this place, man. I will go through like a tornado.
No, they did enough wrecking of it last week. Thank you.
Yeah, interesting week last week.
Speaking of other shows, I'll just jump in real quick. If you're in town here locally and you like a little comedy, the Quarter Deck is doing their finals tonight. Right now, the Quarter Deck on 4th Plain. I don't know the address, but anyway, they sponsor our comedy show, and they've been doing a comedy search for the last 3-4 weeks, and tonight is the finals night. And they have special guest judges, and one of them is Tommy Two-Tone, I guess.
Tommy Two-Tone.
So go down there after we're done with the show.
Well,
what was that guy's hit song?
Jenny 86753.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll be there.
I was like, the name sounds familiar, but I was like, yeah.
He was in here, and we asked if he'd ever called the number, and he said no. So we were going to have him dial it and see if Jenny was there, but he wouldn't do it, I guess.
I should do like a hard rock version cover of that song.
Totally.
8675. 3 hours. Just angry. Just angry.
I called it.
You never called me back.
That's funny.
Yeah, give us a call if you guys want to talk about stuff. I mean, it's open lines, open mic. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. It could be spiritual phenomenon. It could be UFOs. It could be cryptozoology, whatever you want to talk about. That's kind of weird. Because that's what we do here in the RabbitHole, KouvRadio.com.
Roundabout.
Right, or the Roundabout. Yeah. Hey, if you guys have something that's even funnier than that, let us know. We'll play that too. Because I thought that was awesome.
You know what I was watching, and I never checked it out before, but I was watching and this is kind of off topic, but it was pretty cool. It's the Adam Savage Man Cave show. Him and this other guy, it's on YouTube, and they, discuss props and that kind of thing, which, I'm kind of nerdy on, but it was cool. I'd rather watch that than Mythbusters.
Yeah.
But he actually goes to San Diego Comic-Con last year. He dressed as Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
And he had, the Admiral Akbar
That's
mask.
a prop.
But he had, like, the Master and Commander Admiral clothing on.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. So, yeah, that's a trap. I mean, I think that was probably said 1 million times over the course of him trooping.
Well, Comic-Con's here this weekend.
Yeah.
Yep, Wizard World.
We're going there, too.
We will be there.
So, so those of you who want to go, we're going to bring our banner. We're going to get our picture taken with Norman Reedus of The Walking Dead and a handful of other folks, and we'll go ahead and we'll post those pictures for everybody to check out.
If you want to come and hang with us.
We'll be bringing some stuff.
You guys getting a booth?
I don't know. We haven't talked to KouvRadio about that, Wayne.
I know.
Booths are no fun because when you have a booth, you can't explore.
Well, we get a lady to dress up like our rabbit here, and then you guys can go explore. And she just sits there and hands out stickers or something.
I'm down with that.
We might be a little late, but hey, let's plan on that.
Right? Yeah, why not? Let's try. Let's do something. I mean, that sounds good to me.
Let's figure out
we're
how to
definitely
do it
going.
next year,
so we'll be there. If you want. And don't be shy. I mean, I know sometimes we get mobbed in public places and get rushed for autographs and stuff. But
people rip portions of our clothes off.
But don't be shy. We're friendly.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be there, so you may not have to lose any clothes.
Well, Aaron from Ghost Adventures is going to be there, so that'll be interesting. He'll have to
explain himself to me why he responded twice and then never again. He's
busy.
My gosh!
Oh, you.
Right. yeah. I'm the guy who's been stalking you.
Oh, yeah.
You never returned my calls, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. We're from the Rabbit Hole.
Oh my God! Yeah, he is. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can say he's the most animated, but he is when he gets freaked out by something. Like when something major happens, dude. His facial expressions, and
right.
I like how what's his name?
Nick?
No.
Zach
will be like, if there's a spirit here, punch Aaron right in the balls. You know, he'll say something like that. And Aaron, you see the look at his face. He'll look at the camera.
It's always that one look. Shakes his head.
Oh man!
And then you hear this.
Oh my God! Because he tripped over something, and knocked something over. But yeah, I love that stuff, man. Hey, speaking of which, we are definitely it's in the works. Sometime this spring, we're gonna be hooking up with Frank Madrid and my cousin Angie down there with the paranormal investigation crew down there in Arizona. So we'll be definitely getting involved in that. Taspers. That'll be cool, dude. That'll be cool. I mean, we're going to help each other out, too. We're both going to be kind of satellites for the other guy, and we're going to advertise for the other guy, and, you know, it'll be cool. We'll go ahead and put that on our documentary that we're putting together. Some of the footage.
The Rabbit Hole Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love editing, so I want the footage, you know. I can't wait to edit.
What's the matter, Wayne?
Editing.
William Shatner's going to be at the Comic-Con.
William Shatner. My crew.
You got to get a picture
has been down on this planet
alien
for 5 days.
I know a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins.
That's Walter Nimoy. Or
Leonard
Nimoy.
Yeah.
But Shatner, you know, I've been on this planet for 20 days. I've only nailed 15 women.
I've crapped my pants.
I'm behind.
The Will Shatner with Leonard Nimoy Platinum VIP experience at the Portland Comic-Con is $500.
Whoa. For what?
For the Platinum VIP experience.
If you want to meet the Shatner.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. $500 to hang out with Shatner. I just can't do it.
The admission VIP access. All VIP attendees will receive a limited edition exclusive cover variant of Miracle Man #1 by Neil Adams. Neil Adams will be on hand to sign autograph. Fees may apply.
How
Only
they make money,
3,000
dude.
copies will be printed. 3-day weekend ticket. Exclusive William Shatner VIP badge. VIP gets onto the show floor for 30 minutes before regular attendees on Saturday and Sunday. VIP speed pass for autographs and photo ops for Will Shatner. VIP badge, photo op, autograph tickets will be provided at VIP registration. Children 10 and under get in free when accompanied by a paid adult. Limited to paid adult tickets.
See, this is
a lithograph, autographs, photo ops, guaranteed seating at the Will Shatner panel.
Hey, enough Will Shatner. We're just not into it, man. I mean, good for you Trekkies, you know, but I am not a Trekkie. I kind of like it, but it's like, you know, $500. I don't know if I'd spend.
I know, it just seems a little for anybody.
I don't think I'd pay that to meet James Earl Jones.
Well, here's the thing is that I always said if I had the opportunity to be in, say, a Star Wars movie, even just one background guy, it would be great because then you could live the rest of your life off conventions.
Right.
Totally.
You know,
the guy in the red.
I was the one guy in the dark robe in the back with
I was the guy on the roundabout.
I was on Tatooine somewhere. See the little shadow in the back? That was me.
Right. $20 for this autograph.
I mean, you could meet
right.
Summer Glau for $200.
Who's that? That'll be cool. That's River from.
She was also in the
Serenity.
Sarah Connor Chronicles. She was the cyborg.
Yeah.
In the Sarah Connor Chronicles. For those of you who have never seen Firefly, because I've never seen it.
Dude, you've never watched Firefly?
No.
Dude, it's one of the cool. Oh, dude,
it's sci-fi. It's a sci-fi.
Dude, you wouldn't notice it. It's like a western.
Because they ruin everything they do.
No, dude. Josh Whedon did this, man. This is good. You got to watch Firefly, man.
Is he
great show.
Is he Will Wheaton's brother?
Dude, it's a great show, man. And they only did one season of it, but dude, you'll fall in love with it.
I wonder why
they're doing Ghost Hunting with Grant Wilson, and it's sold out. Who's Grant Wilson?
Grant Wilson, I think that's partners with Jason House from Ghost Hunters. I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who that is. Ghost Hunters, right? Yeah, that's him. I think that's him.
Roundabout.
They'll hand out real ghost hunting equipment, just like the ones used by professionals, and they'll go on a mini tour at the 1855 Merchant Hotel. I think.
You know, that to me is kind of like, I think it's a little different, but
$150.
That's like meeting Bobo and going Bigfooting with 50 other people. smacking sticks on the ground. You're gonna run. You might see some rabbits and squirrels run for their lives, going, "What the hell's going on in my woods?" But you're not gonna find a Bigfoot that way. It just ain't gonna happen. You gotta get that cat from Austin, Texas, who likes to shoot stuff buy some Walmart ribs.
Great white hunter.
I mean, you got all these guys out there that are so qualified, that are so good at what they do, and then you get some guy with a rifle and $200 worth of ribs from Walmart, and he bags one.
To me, it just seems like a waste of ribs. I mean, you think you want to smoke those bad boys?
I know. I want some ribs.
They had a good feeling.
Have some friends over.
They had a good feeling. I think we're just going to get Bigfoot. We're going to get Bigfoot this time, Maybe he's up in British Columbia. Maybe he's in Alaska. Maybe
it was the sauce last time. we fixed our sauce.
Apparently, there's only one Bigfoot.
He doesn't like it spicy.
I don't know. Once you've had my wife's ribs, all other ribs suck. So
that's a bold statement.
I'm just saying. I'm kind of a rib snob. They're the best. It's not just me saying that either. Everybody comes up like, "That's the best ribs I ever had." So
yeah.
I mean, $200 worth of ribs, that's nothing. During a Chiefs game at my house. That's every day. We don't have to go to the woods to do that, pin them on a tree.
Have you ever had my ramen?
No, I've had your Totino's pizzas, and those are pretty badass.
It's pretty serious. I do mean ramen.
That number is 360-977-LIVE, 360-977-5483. Somebody called earlier. You can call back. We're here. We're ready.
We're here.
It's open lines. We have a team of people answering the phones. That just sounds good saying it.
That's right.
Sounds big time. And do not forget to go to Portland Comic Con this Saturday.
Wizard World.
You can actually hang out with us there, and we'll talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. Maybe you have something you want us to feature on a show. We'll definitely consider it. Mm-hmm. Some big names.
The designer of Q*bert in Terminator 2. Elvira.
Elvira's going to be there?
Oh, yeah, dude. Uh-huh. I met Cassandra Pierce one time. She was really cool.
She probably still kind of looks the same. She's good, but I like her.
They have a Elvira photo and then her photo you would never recognize.
Right.
Yeah. She's a redhead and wearing a turtleneck. Anyway, Robert Englund.
Yep.
Freddy Krueger. Will be there. Yep. He's going to be there.
And Jason David Frank, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger green-white guy.
Did you hear about the Red Ranger? I didn't know about this, but the Red Ranger who murdered a bunch of people, and he's in prison. And
yeah.
I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, dude.
What happened to this guy?
It went to his head. It went to his head.
Aaron Goodwin, Ghost Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
The Gold Rush guys from Portland.
Sandy. I think they're from
Laura
Sandy.
Holden from The Walking Dead, X-Files.
Oh, yeah.
Which one is she?
She was the blonde who was having some fun with Shane.
Oh, and the governor and anybody else who was the alpha male in the group that she attached herself to.
Right.
I hated that character. I mean, there were times where I liked her, like in the beginning. I was like, "Wow, good, strong chick," She
was kind of loosey goosey in the series. But
yeah, but then she was just kind of like, she needed a dominant alpha male to.
She's a good actress. I mean, she's a really good actress.
She is.
Peter Mayhew. Chewbacca.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chewie.
Ray
Chewie
Park.
will be there. Ray Park will be there. Darth Maul.
That's Darth Maul. That's a good one too. We're going to try to get some interviews too, so we'll play some sound bites for you guys too next Monday.
Sarah Underwood.
Who's that?
The House Bunny. The Girls Next Door.
Still don't know who that is.
Playboy Playmate.
Oh. There's nothing paranormal about that.
Definitely Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good names.
Yeah, there's going to be
co-founder of TAPS, Grant Wilson.
Yeah.
Adam West.
Yeah, that's who Grant Wilson is. He was Jason House's partner. Who?
Adam West will be there.
Adam West will be there too.
Adam West,
dude, the original Batman and Robin.
Well, my buddy Alan, who's in the costuming group, he does the old '66 Batman as well, and he'll be dressed as that one time. So
Billy D. Williams.
Oh. I'm not a friggin' traitor.
This deal gets crazier all the time.
This deal gets worse. I have altered the deal. Pray do not alter it further.
Yeah, a little more Star Wars in there for you. Huh?
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
We'll see if we can get some interviews and stuff. That'd be awesome. I don't know how much it'll cost us. But I mean, just meeting Norman is probably going to cost us $20-$30 each.
Right. Well, it'll be fun. I got to bring my pea coat. I got to show respect for my Boondock Saints. One of my all-time favorite movies.
I'll bring my nickel-plated 45s.
There you go.
What's up, Boondocks?
Spirit of Sante.
Right. I might have to go get some more tats.
There you go.
Veritas. But
and you gotta wear your RabbitHole shirts.
Yeah, we'll be bringing some shirts, and we're gonna give one to Norman for sure. I'm sure he'll wear it. It'd be kind of cool if we wore it in an episode of Walking Dead, where you could just see the front. You could just see Rabbit on the front. You know, that'd be awesome. I don't know if he'll do it. But.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's probably up to wardrobe department, but
the Portland League of Geekery will be there. They sound fun.
I thought that's who we were.
I know, right?
I mean, we're kind of geeky, but I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll punch you, but we're geeky. We're the kind of geeks that fight back.
If you stare at my Superman emblem, I'm gonna punch you.
That's right.
Especially if my underoos.
Right.
Yeah, this looks like a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Well, my wife and I went to Rose City Comic-Con last year, and posted some pics, and I had a lot of fun. I did a little dressing up, and it's a lot of fun, man. It's hard to really take in a lot because you're focused on your outfit. Like I did some of the trooping stuff with the 501st for the first day, and then the second day my wife did a Wonder Woman.
Right. Yeah, you showed me, sent me some pictures,
which was really cool for her.
Well, that's
she
where
doesn't normally do that stuff. But
that's where you did the Men in Black thing too.
Right. I did the Men in Black and
brought Alien and
took the Oreo with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So this is a pretty highly regarded event as well.
And you can see pictures of that on Facebook.com/Deep Into the Rabbit Hole. Just scroll down and you'll see a picture of James holding the rabbit. I think it's featured also in our trailer for the Rabbit Hole Chronicles. There's a snippet of it in there.
Yeah, it's my Men in Black. It was easy.
Right.
Something simple.
I'm just gonna go as a radio show host, so I'm not gonna do anything fancy.
Right.
I don't have anything really.
Take a nice DAT recorder.
Well, I do have a Lucas approved 501st because I am a member of the 501st Legion. Sand Trooper costume that would be impossible for me to get into now.
Dude, it's so
I just can't fit into that size.
I went on a troop marathon, and it wore me out. It was so. I was doing an event at the Rose Garden where one of the authors for some of the Star Wars books were signing autographs and presenting a new book that he put out.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost fell over just standing there. This was like the third troop in the day. I did like 4 or 5 troops in one day. And it destroyed me.
Well,
I mean,
when we did the McMinnville UFO Festival, I was burnt out. Of course, it was like 98 degrees, and
the armor keeps you cool. I felt a lot cooler with the armor on.
Whatever, dude. I was dying.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I could not breathe. It was so miserable. I must have sweat 90% of the water in my body out into that suit.
It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. Dude, the kids light up. It is a good time.
Well, yeah, not to mention the adults who really know, the series you actually come from, because a lot of kids aren't really into the older ones.
And you still run into the cuckoos, too. Remember we had that one lady come up and, like, cod piece checking us?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whoa, hey.
That's it comes with the territory. But Comic-Con, I mean, we're going to see a lot of costuming people.
Right.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Right. It won't be just these big names. There's going to be some costumers, local costumers, who are going to be, really
blow
good
you away.
Mandalorians and you name it. I mean, there's going to be all sorts of cool stuff to look at. People you can talk to. And again, you can come and talk to us, man. And
I got to throw a shout out to my buddy Rick Hebb, who plays. He does Chewbacca for the local Cloud City Garrison for the 501st.
Yeah, I met him.
He left a message with me saying he had a good sighting, and so if you're out there, Rick, give us a jingle, and I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, give us a call, Rick, at 360-977-5483. 360-977-LIVE.
And let me tell you, when you costume as a Wookiee, you have all the appeal and attention of the folks in like a con. Everybody loves a Wookiee.
And his is good too. It's better in my opinion than the original Chewbacca because it's broad-shouldered. It's not gangly. That even as a small child, that's one of the things that bothered me about Chewbacca. It's like he looks so uncoordinated. His knees are knocking as he runs, and it's just like You know, a 5-year-old could outrun them.
Well, even Adam Savage did a Wookiee when he got presented for honorary member of the 501st. So it's interesting. But anyway, enough nerdy stuff.
It's never enough nerdy stuff.
I know, but
it's never enough.
Back to UFOs.
Right. Well, you know, on the Star Wars thing, let's talk about some of the technologies that we saw in Star Wars and the realities that we're seeing in them today.
Right.
For instance, the holograms. The Obi-Wan Kenobi, You're My Only Hope, that R2 played for Obi-Wan. That type of technology has been around now for 15 years. There's one thing right there. What else, man, that we saw in Star Wars that is for real now? Food replicators. Let's see, what else? Artificial breathing apparatuses like what Vader has. There are such things out there today that function pretty much the same way. Artificial eyesight they're experimenting with now. That's what Vader has that as well.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So, I mean, there's a lot of technologies that we would think would be tens of thousands of years in front of us that we're now experiencing just, a few decades after Star Wars made its debut. So, interesting.
Well, not to mention, have you seen these new, which in the newer Star Wars, you see these little breather modules that they go underwater and they put in their mouth and they for scuba diving.
Oh, the rebreather.
They have these new things that scuba divers can wear now. They just little mouthpieces.
Right.
And circulates oxygen, right?
And they're not much bigger than the ones that you see Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan use in the episode where they go to the Gungan city.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff. There's even a documentary out. It's about UFOs in Area 51, and it's an older one. It was put out. I think UFO TV puts it out. But there's one of the UFO investigators has a connection with I think it's a 4-star general, but he says,
"Oh, we got a caller. Hello, you're on the RabbitHole. John Fogel, James Sweet. Go."
Yeah, this is actually Rick Hebb.
Hey, Rick.
What's up, Chewy? How you doing, buddy?
Not much. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Doing good.
So you said you saw something one time. When was this?
Actually, I've had 3 different experiences.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah, one was actually back in 75.
Okay. So, let's go in order then. Let's take it from the first one.
Yeah, the first one was actually back in North Dakota. I was about probably 7 years old. Actually, we lived on an Air Force base in Grand Forks, and I remember me and my sister. We were. I have 3 sisters and 1 older brother. We were actually upstairs, sitting on the bed. We were playing board games, and their bed kind of was at the end of a window. And I remember my sister was like, "Well, what is that?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Well, look at that." So I turn around, and there's a craft that's probably 100 feet off the ground, sitting in the middle of the street, and it's rotating, but it's just sitting there. I'm like, "Whoa, that's weird." I don't even know. At the time, since we were on an Air Force base, we didn't know if it was a new experimental plane or what. Like I said, this is back in 75, so it was one of those things that was a little hazy. But all of a sudden, as soon as we seen it, it was gone. I mean, instantly.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty tripping. Actually, I halfway remembered it, but I remember a couple of years we went camping, and my sister brought it up again when we were telling some stories around the campfire. And she's like, "Yeah, I remember that UFO." And I was like, "Oh, my God, I totally do." And she remembers it definitely being a saucer-shaped UFO. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's weird."
Now, Rick, was it disc-shaped?
Disc-shaped, definitely.
Okay. Was it self-illuminated, or did it emit any type of light?
No, it was basically, I think there's a model out there called the S4, silver, round.
Like
it was a lot like that.
The Bob Lazar style?
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now is you said it was 100 feet off the ground. How far away from it were you?
I was probably, I would say, less than 400 feet. I mean, it was fairly close.
Wow.
It wasn't a big craft. It was probably 30 or 40 feet across.
Diameter.
How did the sighting end?
How did it end?
Yeah.
Like I said, it just jetted off as fast as, it was there one time, gone the next.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
What's your next one?
My second one was actually, it took place, I was probably about, I want to say 8 or 9. At the time me and my cousin were actually outside. We had just got through watching the $6 Million Man Show. And it was basically him against Bigfoot.
Oh, I remember.
Who doesn't know that show?
Right.
Right. And so we decided to go outside and act like, he was Steve Austin, and I was the Bigfoot, of course, because now, I'm Chewbacca now. But
yeah.
Anyways, we were both out there playing, and I remember that I had one of those old parkas on with the really fuzzy top on it. Mm. So I was acting like the Bigfoot. So we were fighting. He went in to get a drink, and I was actually outside. This is probably about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm laying on the grass looking up at the stars, and I see a light basically go from like one star to another. It was really slow moving. I was like, no, that's kind of weird. I thought, okay, is it a falling star or what? So I'm still laying there, and I see it go from another star to another star, almost in a straight line. I'm like, that's really weird. And then next thing you know, it took a turn. And that's when it really scared me. I was like, whoa, what is going on? So I actually ran in the house, told my sisters, and they came out, and they actually seen this thing basically go from one star to another star. And it wasn't, like I said, it was in weird patterns. It wasn't straight. It actually turned. So that one happened. That was the second one. The third one actually was about 10 years ago. I was actually at a restaurant here in Gresham. We came out, and just for some odd reason, I looked to my left, which is actually out towards your guys' way, Vancouver, and I seen a silver orb hovering basically about where Vancouver would be. And I actually told my wife and my kids, I said, are you guys seeing this? Do you see that orb out there? And everybody looked at it. We probably watched this thing for at least a good 5 minutes. And it just sat there. And we can actually see cloud coverage move in front of it and behind it. Hmm. So it was definitely stationary, and it was an orb, just a solid round orb.
So you've had some good sightings then. That's...
Yeah, you're a rarity, yeah. Rick. I mean, really, you're a lucky cat because that. Go ahead.
I was actually fairly lucky. I'm actually surprised I've seen that many, but it kind of shocked me at the time, and yeah. One thing I haven't seen was actually Bigfoot, which I'd like to since.
Oh, brother, you're singing to the choir. I've spent so much time looking. I found sign and stuff, but to see one with your own eyes is so. Oh my gosh, it's like 100, maybe 1,000 times rarer than seeing a UFO, because those are way more common than people think. If people spend just a small amount of time, free time, on a clear night looking up, they're going to see something that they can't explain. It's that common.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we've been conditioned to believe it's a satellite, or it's the ISS, or something like that. But when it's moving like the way you described it, and that's what they do, Rick, sometimes they will mimic a star, and they will go from one star to the next, camouflaging themselves. Yep. Very common.
Well, not to mention the big misconception these days is that every sighting, UFO or disc-shaped craft, people tend to assume that these are alien craft. There's a lot of ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, out there that are exactly, if not the same technology that has been used,
Right, which doesn't make it any less cool, because it's still, you're still looking at something alien,
It's still very cool, but we don't know who's piloting these things, whether it's us or them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, but no, very good, Rick. How's the foot doing?
The foot's doing good. Actually, I will be at Wizard World too, so I'll see you guys down there.
Awesome. Hey, by the way,
Yeah,
Rick does a mean Vader as well, just so people know. He does
Yes,
a good,
I do have
good
a
Vader
Vader.
too.
Yeah, no. Rick is a dedicated individual. He puts a lot of time out for the 501st and Cloud City Garrison for the charity, and he that's giving back to the community, man. So bravo to you.
Yeah, something I absolutely love doing. I think everybody should, do their time at doing some charity. I think it'd make the world a lot better place.
Right, and that's one thing I want to make very clear to the listeners right now is that it is a not-for-profit organization. They do charity events and make sick kids light up, and gives them something to look forward to, and we appreciate your efforts on that, buddy.
Yep, not a problem.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you out there, Rick.
All right, we will, definitely.
All right, and
Take
thanks
care.
for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right, take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We had somebody trying to get through earlier. Sorry. You can try again at 360-977-5483. 360-977-LIVE.
That first one in 75, that was a pretty cool sighting, man. I mean,
no coincidence it's on an airbase either. I think
Right.
that's pretty
That was
clear.
amazing. Just a couple hundred feet out the window.
but not surprising. I mean, 75, yeah. I mean, it almost sounds like it was either maybe a test.
Right. But it makes you wonder if it's a test. I mean, they're like, yeah, let's go screw with the people who live at the airbase, or were they thinking? What are they thinking?
It was the first drone.
Or it's like, whoops, crap, I don't know, something went wrong. Where are you? I'm right over this friggin' neighborhood, and I don't know how to control this thing. Help me out here.
Just fly by the kids' room, make sure they're in bed.
Right. Because I'm sure that has happened, especially with the first prototypes. They were like, gosh.
Well, if you're talking about the one like the Tester's model, which I have, the Bob Lazar sport model is what they call it. That's seen in some of the Billy Meyer footage,
right?
The photos Billy Meyer has. So, that size-wise, inside the seating, everything, like Bob Lazar says, it's a very ominous feeling. By looking at the size of the seats and everything, it was very alien,
right.
to him. So.
But still interesting how it's still humanoid. It's bipedal. It's something which brings us all the way back to the old ancient alien theories of how much of a hand do they have in our evolution and why we are the way we are. Because when you listen to some of these scientists talk, they're like, hey man, don't expect alien life to look anything like you because they probably won't. I disagree.
Well, look at the 5-pointed star. That's sacred geometry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, because of the, I can't remember who put that out. The Da Vinci drawing of the human that they sent out into space.
Veruvian Man is what it's called.
Right.
The Veruvian Man it is.
Which is basically a 5-pointed star.
Right.
Right. If you connect the dots. So that seems to be a common theme in a lot of beings that are, quote unquote, visiting us.
Right, up to 68, I believe, 68 different species, and they all pretty much follow the same 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, torso, eyes, mouth, nose, and whatnot. Those of you who want to get a quick story in, you certainly can give us a call at 360-977-5483. And
got a few minutes left here.
Got just like a few minutes if you guys want to rip it in there.
Yeah, we had a California caller.
Doggone it.
Call us back real quick.
Yeah, call us back, Callie.
Got a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's right, 916. It's from Cali.
Yeah. That's down there in the UFO alley, man.
Yeah, right on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a UFO.
It might have been somebody who was a part of what I was talking about earlier.
The New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I mean, if that's you, man, call back. And if not, make sure you call back next Monday.
What are we going to talk about next Monday? Any ideas?
Well, we're going to
Comic-Con?
we'll be talking about the Wizard World thing. We'll be putting some sound bites together. And also, stay tuned to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/deepintotherabbithole. We'll keep you posted on what's going on.
It might be good to discuss, since this is something that you and I personally witnessed, a lot of these orb sightings, these nighttime things, that I've even videotaped.
Right.
So that'd be good. Maybe we can get some posted on the site, some video.
Sure.
And
it'd be cool to put your video up if you can.
Yeah, I just got to down it from the tape into the computer and.
Yeah. I mean, there is definitely something to that, and there's a lot of I think a lot of people who are kind of like, is this extraterrestrial or is this paranormal as in spiritual? And I think it could be a little bit of both. Why couldn't it be?
Well, I've always thought of when we see some of these like orb or ball-shaped craft. Katharina Wilson's book Alien Jigsaw.
Yeah.
When she sees on the military base this ball-shaped craft that has sort of a pilot that can see a pilot. There's drawings of this.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like astronaut type gear, but
like that Solway Firth guy, he looks like he's wearing some kind of futuristic type.
Right. So it begs the question of are those military? Are those or some secret shadowy military that we can't account for?
Well, I mean, there are people out there who talk about that military-industrial complex and the fact that they have their own army, their own navy, their own air force, and they are not a part of the United States per se.
Right. Which I know this kind of throws people off, when we talk about some of these fringe conspiracies, but there's a lot of evidence pointing in this direction that they have this technology.
Right.
They were dealing with anti-gravity back in the 40s and 50s.
Right, and sustainable energies, and people are dying, and like we said before, these cats have the key to the patent office. So, will we ever see them? Maybe. I think our only hope really is through the graces of Dr. Stephen Greer and his efforts. The way he's going about it, I think, is the right way.
We just can't jump to the conclusion that everything we see is piloted by ETs.
Right.
The Nazi alien race.
Right. Yeah, those Iranians are straight up. So on that note, we appreciate your calls, we appreciate your listenership, and without us, there isn't you. In the meantime, keep your eye to the sky, your ear to the ground. If you got anything good to tell us, give us a call next week at 360-977-5483.
And if you want to check out some swag, you can go to the RabbitHole shop at myshopify.com. Or visit us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/deepintotherabbithole.
Thanks for listening at KouvRadio.com, down deep in the atomic vault, the rabbit hole.
Have a good night.
Thank you all.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and